You can feel it in small moments. You write one message and sound calm. You step into work and sound sharper. You get home and try to be present. Then at night, after one more scroll, the whole day can feel strangely disconnected, like it belonged to several different people. Nothing dramatic happened. No big collapse. No visible change from the outside. But over time, your sense of being one continuous person can start to thin out. Welcome to Mini Mind Hack. Today, we are looking at a very common modern problem, feeling like you are still functioning, but not quite feeling like the same person from one part of your life to the next. We will start with the everyday experience, then look at how roles shape the self, then why the mind struggles when those roles stop connecting, and finally why modern life makes this harder than it used to be. Most people do not feel exactly the same in every setting. That is normal. You speak differently to a boss than to a friend, and differently again at home. The problem begins when those shifts stop feeling like normal adjustments and start feeling like separate versions of you that do not fully belong to each other. Erving Goffman, a sociologist writing in the 1950s, described social life as something like performance. His point was not that people are fake. His point was simpler. In daily life, we all manage how we come across because every setting asks something different from us. That is true and useful, but it only explains part of the feeling. Because the deeper issue is not just that you have roles. It is that the roles can become so constant and so disconnected that there is no longer much room to feel like there is one person underneath them. You keep adjusting, but you do not get enough time to settle back into yourself. Over time, that can feel like tiredness, but not only physical tiredness. It can feel like inner friction, like you are always shifting shape and never quite landing. One way psychology describes this is self-concept clarity. Jennifer D. Campbell and colleagues used that term in the 1990s to describe how clearly and consistently a person understands who they are over time. In everyday life, that means simple things. What matters to me? What do I usually want? What do I stand for? What kind of person am I when nobody is telling me who to be? When that sense is strong, your answers can still change, but they do not change wildly depending on the room you are in. When it is weaker, the experience is different. One conversation can make you feel settled. The next can make you doubt yourself. One plan can feel right in the morning, then strangely wrong by evening. The problem is not that you have many sides. The problem is that the sides do not feel connected into one whole. That is where narrative identity comes in. Dan McAdams, a psychologist in the United States, has written for years about how people turn experience into a life story. The basic idea is that we do not just live events. We connect them. We take what happened yesterday, what is happening now, and what we think may happen next, and we try to make them belong to one story. This matters more than it sounds. Because when something difficult happens, like a breakup, a job change, a move, or even a long stretch of pressure, the mind does not only ask, "What happened?" It also asks, "What does this say about me?" If that connection is weak, the events stay separate. They become isolated scenes instead of part of one continuous life. And that can create a very specific kind of unease. From the outside, you still look functional. You still answer messages, go to work, and do what is expected. But inside, the days do not always add up into a story that feels like yours. Modern life makes this easier to lose. Part of that is technology. Part of it is work culture. Part of it is the pressure to always seem coherent, competent, and adjusted, even when you are tired or uncertain. You are not only living your life now, you are also observing it. You check how you look, how you sound, how your choices appear, how your life compares to other people's, how your version of yourself performs in public. That outside view can slowly start to overpower the inside view. A recent review on social media and identity found that what matters is not just time spent online, but the kinds of activity people do there. Comparison, self-presentation, and authenticity all shape identity in different ways. That fits a pattern many people already know from experience. The phone does not only distract you, It can also train you to watch yourself from the outside more than feel yourself from the inside. And once that happens, the self starts to feel less lived and more managed. You can see the same thing in smaller daily habits. Writing and rewriting a message so it sounds right. Thinking about how you came across after a meeting. Replaying a conversation in your head. Adjusting your tone before you even speak. None of this is strange on its own. But when it becomes constant, your attention keeps moving away from the actual moment and toward the image of yourself in that moment. That is one reason people can feel disconnected even while staying busy. They are not necessarily losing their identity. More often, they are living under too many roles, with too much outside feedback and too little time for the pieces to connect. The result is not a dramatic disappearance. It is a gradual thinning of coherence. So when someone says, "I do not feel like myself anymore," that does not always mean something is broken. It often means something important is under strain. And that strain makes sense. A person cannot keep performing indefinitely without some cost to continuity. The mind needs more than adaptation. It also needs integration. So if this feeling is familiar, the first thing to know is that it is not unusual, and it is not a personal failure. It is often what happens when a life becomes more fragmented than the self can easily organize. You may still be the same person. You just may not have enough quiet, continuity, or room to feel that fact clearly. Thank you for watching Mini Mind Hack. If this video named something you have been feeling, leave a comment and subscribe for more calm, evidence-based videos like this. See you next time.